The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbb-radio.com.
Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of the Big Yak Podcast. It's Mike Barretto here, and alongside me is Nico Salimbeni, as always, and we have another special guest on today. This is Sean Casilio. How are you, man?
Good. How are you guys? I love being here.
Welcome aboard, Sean.
Yeah, welcome aboard. So tell us about yourself. You know, I know you're Nico's uncle and whatnot, but, tell us about your backstory.
So Nico and I met when you were what, like 6,
Probably like
5, something like that. And I've been family basically ever since. But, I'm 30. I'm old, way older than you guys. 2 kids, married, all that jazz. I've been teaching in South Buffalo for about 10 years now. Went over to West Seneca for a bit, came back. Teach special ed. I work with a lot of kids in, tough areas, tough situations, but I think they're some of the best kids to work with. They have a lot of heart, they have a lot of stories to tell, and they need a lot of love and care. And I think I like to be there for kids and also progress, and that's why I've also been coaching for. I'm gonna be 31 in August, so this is gonna be my 15th year of coaching. I started when I was 16. And man, I've coached. My coaching resume is pretty funny. I went from, coaching hockey to coaching lacrosse to coaching football to also coaching football. Shout out to, if they ever hear this, Justin Pierwarzik for signing his UB D1 contract. And,
all right.
Let's go.
Isaiah Simmons, one of the best Western New York products that a lot of people don't know. He signed D1 walk-on with Stony Brook, I think. So shout out to him.
That's
He's
awesome.
one of the best, most athletic players I've ever coached in my entire life. That kid is unbelievable. So shout out to those two. I coached them JV football at West Seneca. Great kids, great dudes. And I also taught at a dance studio. I was a strength and conditioning coach at a dance studio for a little bit there. I taught Nico's sister for a little while and her friends, and, they're all way more athletic than I am, so I don't know how that worked out. But yeah, I've worked in a lot of different ways and in a lot of different sports, and now I'm coaching for Niagara University's second club team, our CHF team, and it's a big year for us. We actually started the year of COVID.
Yep.
And it was hard, man. I mean, we had 10-person practices, and that year, one of our teams actually lost a player. RIP to Patrick Romano. He lost his life in a house fire. And it was a really hard year all around for our program, and especially building a team. We actually thought, who's going to come out for 10-person practices? We weren't going to play a game, And we kept the team going, and the following year, we got some very nice pickups, some rookies, and then this year, we signed the best defenseman from a junior league in the United States, in the USPHL, and we signed guys from Pennsylvania and Montana, North Carolina, South Carolina, New Jersey. We have local products. We are one of the most diverse teams in the country. We're going from our average age being 19 last year, being one of the youngest teams in the league, and now our average age is 20 and a half. So we've really expedited that process, and just talking with people around the league and the league talking to us, we're projected a top 10 team in the league this year. And October 2nd, hopefully 2 people are there, broadcasting the game. But we're playing University of Georgia, number 4 in the country, and it's going to be a long ride. We're playing 30 games just to get to nationals at the end of the year and get ranked. And, the team above us, our ACHA D1 team, is nationally ranked as well. And, we've had guys.
You're getting some national attention now.
Yeah,
really.
we've been not a big deal, but we've been getting some international attention. We've had we've had 4 guys sign pro contracts in the past 2 years.
That's awesome.
Signing in the French Pro League, German Pro League, Swedish Pro League. It's been a big moment for us. We got 2 guys on our ACHA D1 team who should be playing NCAA Division I, and it's just a great feeling, great time to be. It's a great team.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like here if you have a good people that you work with, you're gonna have good results. And it's really like my assistant coaches are like my family, and these players they buy in, and they're coming from all over the country, really. And we have guys from, all over the world. We have a Swedish elite player playing in our ACHA D1 team. And, all over the world come here, and we're basically their family. So we try and treat them that way. And, we always want to expand our Perps family to people we think are going to make it better. And I think that's going to be our mission for the next couple of years here. We really want to make a statement. And I think club hockey has kind of taken the path of UFC, like NCAA hockey. It only has 160 teams combined between D3 and D1. And, UFC was kind of that overlooked kind of loser-type sport in the 90s and early 2000s. Same with club hockey. Everybody would make a joke, oh, you're playing club hockey. And then in the 2010s to now, it's really taken off. And we're supposed to be playing in University of Georgia, who's just building a 7,000-seat stadium or arena. In 2023, 2024, they're going to have 7,000 fans there for a club hockey game against Niagara University. So,
growing,
that's the dream, right? Like playing in front of 7,000.
Exactly.
I'm not even playing. I'm just standing behind the bench, but 7,000 people.
That's probably the biggest crowd that you've played in front of, right? Or that you would be playing in front of.
Yeah, it's great. We love our games, especially at home. Like we played St. Bonaventure last year. Shout out to St. Bonaventure. That's a great program too. Shout out to the whole UNYCHL. It's a great league, and we try and this year we really want to make our rink, which got a bunch of updates already. We want to make it a really hard place to play. So we want to try and sell it out as much as possible. We're gonna have theme nights and stuff like that at home games to get people out there and
hype it up.
Yeah, and our players hype it up a lot. They get a lot of people coming out to those games, friends, family, stuff like that. We had like 300 people at our playoff game. You can't. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah.
And the more we can get out. We play at some rinks. There's some teams like in Florida, Tampa, Georgia, Alabama, like all those teams. They sell out every single game. University of Kentucky, I believe, they play every game at midnight, and they sell them out.
Wow.
Imagine playing a game at midnight, and they sell it out every single time. The videos of those games are electric, and I think that's really what we want to bring to Niagara, where we are serious. Like, we are going to compete for national titles, but, we want to have a good time, and that's kind of the whole phase of our team, and we're hopefully, our ACHA Division I team, they're a bit more serious, and, they're a bit older, Yeah. So we're just trying to be that in between of super serious and having a good time.
That's awesome. That's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, it's real good to hear. I hope good luck to you guys this season.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's go into our 2-minute drill. I think we should put him through the ringer, man.
Sean is a big fan of this 2-minute drill. He was telling me earlier this week, he was like, listen, I'm ready. I'm ready to take Taj's total. I think Taj had, 5 last week?
Yeah, I think he had 5.
Taj did a good job last week. Taj was a great guest, by the way. Taj was solid. It's a little bit of pressure coming in after Taj, so hopefully that stays. I can keep up the pace.
All right, you ready for it? Let me pull out the timer.
Alrighty.
All right, do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
You can start.
All right. Getting ready in 3, 2, 1, let's go. In light of Terry McLaurin's 3-year extension, does he eclipse 1,000 yards for the 3rd consecutive season? Yes or no?
If Carson Wentz is his quarterback that whole time, absolutely not.
Ooh,
okay.
Absolutely
not. That's a rough take.
Okay, Baker to Carolina. How many wins does Carolina finish with this year?
Is CMC and Hubbard playing the entire season? Do they have play action with Baker? Because that's the only way Baker can really be successful is solid play action. And I don't know. Can Matt Rule? Is it still Matt Rule? Like, can Matt Rule pull that off? I don't think so. But I personally, I think Baker's a gamer. I just think he needs coach who believes in him. He hasn't had that. I don't think Baker is even a Lamar. So I think he really needs a coach to do that, and Matt Rule is not the guy. So no.
Say 7 to 10.
So I would say if
7,
Matt
8.
Rule gets fired, he'll win 7 to 9. If he doesn't get fired, he's winning 5.
Okay.
All right. Dak Prescott said to be in the best physical shape of his life. Does Dak finish a top 10 QB? Why or why not?
I just watched Undisputed and Shannon Sharp going off about this. I couldn't agree more. Dak Prescott, let me say this twice. Dak Prescott is a bottom 10 QB in the league, and I will hear nothing further.
All right. Star safety Jesse Bates III and the Bengals aren't close to a contract extension. Does Bates sit out long, or for how long?
I mean, the Bengals, they gotta pay people. They're gonna have to pay people soon. I don't know how they pay everybody, but I think if you don't get your bag, you sit out. You don't get your money. These teams aren't give you no allegiance, get your money. So I think he sits out until he gets it. So 6 games if possible.
Seahawks have had internal discussions on trying to add Jimmy Garoppolo to their team. Does Jimmy G play for the 49ers week 1? And if not, where? Finish off your answer here.
So if Trey Lance was as good as everybody says he is, why aren't they just getting rid of Jimmy G? Why are they making it so difficult? Everybody tells me how great Trey Lance is. We've all seen we've seen Jimmy G, right? We've seen like that 49ers team these past couple of years. The reason why they haven't won a Super Bowl is because of Jimmy G. And if Trey Lance, that's like, being semi better than an average quarterback. Trey Lance should walk in and be a better than an average quarterback. I don't think he is. I think that's why they're slowing the roll on trading Jimmy G, and that's why they're going to try and maximize their assets on whatever they get from him. Do I think the Seahawks are going to be the team that gets him? No, I think it's the Texans because they have the most assets to get him. So we'll see what happens.
All right, that was 1.
I know
2,
you're a
3,
big
4,
Davis Mills
5.
fan. I know you're a big Davis Mills fan.
I did no Davis Mills slanders
No,
over
but
here.
I'm going to slander Davis Mills. Davis Mills is bad. Sorry, he's bad.
No, it's all right, man. It's all good. All right, then to our next segment. Let's go to fantasy football. So recently, Yahoo came out with their average draft position rankings. And we have a couple tidbits we want to talk about. Let's talk about Broncos running back Javonte Williams first. They haven't projected to go, mid-second round pick, like late first round, even like some early second round. Where do you guys see Javonte Williams going? Do you think that's accurate, like a mid-second round pick, or?
Go ahead.
I think it's too high for Javonte Williams, and that's only because you have Melvin Gordon on the same team. He you saw it last year how they split the backfield. You're not going to see this crazy jump in production. Not every player is going to have that Jonathan Taylor jump that, they're all projecting it to be Javonte Williams this year, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think if Melvin Gordon leaves the Broncos, that's when you're going to get that jump, and it might not be that big. I mean, he had a strong end of last season, but I don't see it happening with Melvin Gordon still in the backfield.
Okay.
There's one reason why Javonte Williams isn't going to go that high anymore, and it's the same guy who wouldn't hand the ball to Marshawn Lynch. So if that guy's your quarterback, I don't care who your running back is, because he doesn't want to give the ball to the running back unless he's got to check it down because he can't see down the field. I have a big Bronco.
Short king.
Short kings only, right? My best friend is a Broncos fan, and I hear every aspect of Broncos talk. And he told me last year. I'll give him this. I will give him this. He told me last year, like week 2, Javonte Williams. He was like, pick this dude up. He's going to be unbelievable, and he was so right. And I should have, even though I won my fantasy league either way, not a big deal, but won it either way. And I thought, with Russ coming in, they're going to get their receivers back. Whoever the running back is, he might be able to be maximized. And then you look at this. I remember all of the running backs from Seattle. Can we talk about that fantasy, how running backs from Seattle just ruined your fantasy year?
Oh, yeah.
Penny,
how many years?
Chris
Carson, Penny, oh, my God. And it's just like they let you down every single year. And you're like, why? Seattle's a good team. Mm-hmm. It's got a good offense. And every year you would pick up a Seattle running back, and then he'd get injured the first 2 minutes in the game, and his backup would have 180 8 yards for some reason. So you'd pick up the backup, and then the next week he'd have 6 yards, and they'd just lose by 10. And it's just so frustrating. It's the same cycle.
I remember that. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember him, but CJ Procise.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a guy who I was like sitting here, and then like he comes in the game, and then he starts going off, and then you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go pick him up, and then he's not worth anything
every time. So who's the main character that made all of those things happen? It was Russell Wilson. So does that come to Denver too? I think it does.
Now there's another cook in the kitchen, and this one likes to cook. This one wants to be lead chef, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Sierra said so. So he better be ready.
Let's talk about Lions running back DeAndre Swift. Where do you draft him this year? Because he's in that Detroit Lions offense. It's very hard to trust.
Yahoo, I should point this out. Yahoo has Javonte Williams over DeAndre Swift.
See, Fantasy Pros has Swift over Williams.
I agree with that. I think Swift should be drafted ahead of Williams in every single league.
Yes.
It's coach, right? Dan Campbell's a maniac, and he's going to run the ball. We all know he's going to run the ball. And, they do have some good receivers, though.
Jameson Williams is just drafted.
Jameson Williams.
DJ Chark.
Chark. No, who's the
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
He popped off at the end of the year last year. And I think,
he's a keeper in one of our leagues too.
He is.
He should be. He should be. He earned that. I don't think he's going to be their number one anymore, but I think if that guy becomes their Robert Woods, like possession receiver, Jameson Williams is going to be back by when? Is he going to be back for September, October? I thought it was November.
Yeah, he's projected mid-season.
Mid-season. Yeah. He's going to have that learning curve.
Yep.
But Chark is solid. Anybody who plays for the Jaguars, nobody knows how good they are, right? Like we have no idea how good somebody on the offense of the Jaguars is, because Trevor Lawrence was in shambles last year. It's the Jaguars. I can't believe we lost them in the playoff game.
You can't count. You can't count Jacksonville from last year. Urban Meyer. You can't.
It's crazy.
You write off
crazy.
that year. That's.
But who's their coach? Who's their new coach?
Doug Peterson.
There you go.
He's a good coach.
He's a good coach, right? But you also have to buy into that Doug Peterson way. He won a Super Bowl. Right. That guy won a Super Bowl. Imagine if Sean McDermott wins a Super Bowl for the Bills, and then 2 years later they fire him. What would Bills fans do?
I don't know, man. It would be a mixed feelings,
right?
Like,
right. That's how turned off Eagles players got, and football players, man. You have to really know how to manage men. Like you have to know.
You have to be a leader of men to be.
That's why Pete Carroll only lasts so long. That's why Nick Saban doesn't stay there, because a lot of college coaches think that they can have control over every single aspect of a person's life. And these guys are pros. They don't need that,
Right. Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase? First, which one is going to be the first wide receiver off the board?
I don't think you can go wrong with either.
You know what's crazy? I have both on one team right now.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Oh my!
How'd you? Actually, I know how you did that. Is it a dynasty league?
It's a dynasty league.
Oh,
yeah, it's a dynasty
you're set up.
Lord.
It was the dynasty league. I don't know, man. Those two are unbelievable. I just think who's throwing the ball to both of them. I think you take Chase, just because who's throwing him the ball. And
I'm taking Burrow over.
And
Cousins
11 times. How many times is Jamar Chase going to get double coverage? How are you going to double cover Jamar Chase this year?
It's going to be hard,
and
man.
Then you open up the door for T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd too.
Well, two good receivers too.
Exactly. And they don't have a bad tight end either.
No.
It's who's opposite Jefferson?
It's Thielen.
Thielen still.
Yeah, Adam Thielen still.
But he's coming off that major injury, right? Didn't he have major knee injury?
Yeah, I think he ended last year. I don't think he was completely healthy. I want to say because KJ Osborne was their wide receiver number 3, and he stepped up big. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure Thielen was on and off with his injuries last year. So he's probably going to come back a little like, you know what I mean? Like a little So
I don't know.
Start to the season.
I think Minnesota's a big question mark. I think Minnesota's a big question mark in the NFC. I don't know. They could be really good. But I don't believe in the quarterback, and I don't believe in their defense. Who they pick up? They pick Harrison Phillips up, and a couple players like that. I think with the division they're in.
Right. We talked Minnesota last week. You can't stop Aaron Rodgers and the Packers right now. That's just not happening.
And the Lions are going to be
The Lions
better,
are gonna steal
better
a couple.
than average.
The
They're gonna
Lions
be
are
better
going to
than
steal a
average.
couple. I could see them
I think they
getting
could be
6-7
better
wins.
than Chicago
Definitely.
for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Let's go to quarterbacks. When do you select a quarterback this year? You have your obvious guys. Top three is Allen, Mahomes, Herbert in most leagues. But when is the best time to select one in fantasy?
Nico, before you say anything, I have to give you that surprise right now. I have to say this on the air, in the camera. I'll stare directly in the camera. Nico Salambenny was totally right about Josh Allen, and I was wrong. Okay. I was 100% wrong.
So
Josh Allen, number one. Pick him every single time.
Anyone that knows me and Sean are friends with both of us on Facebook, we have gone, since Josh Allen was drafted, I have gone to war for Josh Allen with Sean specifically, and Sean was not a subscriber until
last
season. I think the playoffs last season was what changed you, right?
Oh, God. Well, my biggest thing with Josh Allen was mental. Like, watching that Texans game, it drove me insane. That Texans playoff game drove me insane. And, the things he would do to try and be a hero just boiled my blood. Last year, everything clicked. Everything.
Yep.
His mind,
mental, physical.
It almost looked like he was playing in a league that was below him sometimes. It looked like...
I mean, you look at that Patriots game. He was the best player on the field.
This is
at all.
I'm going to say two things that people are probably going to hate me for. One, I was actually a big Josh Rosen fan before the draft.
Listen, that's not a bad thing, because you want to know something? I was a big Josh Rosen.
I was also at that
point. He had that swagger. He had that swagger, and I love that type of swagger. But Josh Allen has that swagger now, and here's the other one. Honestly, Josh Allen walks on the field like Tom Brady used to. Mm-hmm. I know that's crazy. Tom Brady is the GOAT, like you guys have said before. He is the absolute GOAT. But when Tom Brady walked on the field, and I won't even say Aaron Rodgers does this, Tom Brady walks on the field and he's like, I'm better than everybody on this field.
Leader of men.
He literally looks at his team and he's like, it doesn't matter. I'm better than everyone on this field.
Yep.
And athletically, maybe not, but mentally and how he's going to play the game, Josh Allen walks onto the field now.
And now you got a guy like Josh Allen who is athletically could be the best player on the field.
Right.
Every time he steps on the field.
He's a freak, man. Like it's just the throws he does now, they're mentally thought through throws. Like you can see where his talent and his mind have come together, and he's literally like, I'm going to fit this through. Two guys
still
who's
got
going to
that
jump in the air.
gunslinger swagger.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if you put Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers together, right?
Yeah.
Like it's Aaron Rodgers is all mental. Like he goes out there and acts like, it's the simplest thing ever when he's doing complicated stuff. And Brett Favre just thought it was all physical. Like you don't got to think it. Don't think, just do. And I think there's that merger with Allen's not like anything we've ever seen before.
Oh yeah.
Anyone who tells me that Lamar Jackson is like Josh Allen is, their argument can go sit in the corner because there's no way. Josh Allen, I mean, if you have the number one overall pick this year and you don't pick Jonathan Taylor or Josh Allen, I'm serious.
Number one overall.
Number one overall.
Overall. QB
Number one overall. Josh Allen is that good. He's that good. In fantasy, look up his fantasy points. Isn't he one of the top 5 fantasy points in fantasy?
He was number 2 behind Jonathan Taylor.
There you go.
Number 3 behind Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp, I believe.
The one slander that I hate is QBs don't go in the first round. It's ridiculous.
Let's hear it.
I mean, I'm in a fantasy league that is a lot different than most. The one fantasy league that I play in, we play 2 games a week. And we would play 2 quarterbacks at once. So, quarterbacks are super important. Last year, I picked 12th. So I picked on the snake, so back-to-back. And I picked Mahomes and Jonathan Taylor back-to-back.
See, that's good.
You were set.
I won the league by a mile.
I
won the league by a mile. And it's, Jonathan Taylor's a freak. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm picking it with Matt Ryan as quarterback. I'm probably going to pick Jonathan Taylor 1. Mm-hmm. But if I have 2, who are you going to tell me is better than Josh Allen at 2? Like, I'll have this argument, right? Who's better fantasy-wise than Josh Allen at 2?
I'll give you so Yahoo has currently Austin Eckler. That's a hot take too.
That is a hot take.
That's a super hot take.
So Cooper Kupp is 3. We'll talk about that. Do you take Cooper Kupp?
With no Robert Woods and no OBJ? Am I gonna take Cooper Kupp at 2, who's coming off injury?
They got Allen Robinson.
You
got Allen Robinson.
Don't get me started with Allen Robinson.
He has been suspect.
Yeah. Everybody, it's the Bears' fault though, right? It's the Bears' fault. That's what. No, I'm taking Josh Allen over Cooper Kupp.
Derrick Henry.
Who else is getting the ball in Tennessee?
Derrick Henry.
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods. Yeah,
I'm taking my argument against myself. Yeah, but Robert Woods is possession. There's nobody else. There's nobody else to go deep. So
There's no A.J. Brown there
There's
anymore.
no A.J. Brown. There's nobody to go deep. So you got Robert Woods in those seam cuts, right, where you're trying to drive the ball downfield, but you got to run the ball to get there, right? You have to run the ball well to get Robert Woods. And Tennessee lost how many linemen, right?
That's true.
Didn't they lose like 2 or 3? We took one of their better ones.
Yeah, we took Roger Saffold, the
Right.
other starting guard.
Right.
Big.
So, and Derrick Henry's coming off injury again. Look at. I saw a cool video on TikTok today, and it was talking about running backs over 26. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. I couldn't even imagine. It was like Lev Bell, all these guys, as soon as they turn 26.
Gone.
Done.
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 Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely like, if you had like a keeper league or a dynasty league, and taking Josh Allen the first round and having him for like next
and he's
couple
your
years,
QB for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, honestly,
I always say, don't overthink it with fantasy. Like I think fantasy is so easy to overthink.
Oh yeah,
because
you're gonna get the nerds who throw all the books at you and the numbers at
Right.
you, and
I had people in my one fantasy league taking kickers in the 8th round.
Eesh.
In the 8th round. I go, you're overthinking it, my man.
no wonder why you won the league by a mile.
Yeah, you're overthinking it. You think you're I don't even pick kickers in that league. I just pick them up. Whoever's left, I pick them up at the end. I'd rather have.
You never know who's gonna pop off. There's always
Yeah.
that one kicker every year, like Jason Myers was one.
Daniel Carlson came onto the scene.
Young
Right.
Leku was a pickup before.
But are kickers going to win you a game every week, or is a fifth wide receiver who you got your second wide receiver on a bye? Is he going to help you more than your kicker? I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
I think definitely with fantasy, like the more risk you take and like the more you trust your gut, I think the more, like not value, but the more reward you can get. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think like, and that drafting Josh Allen first round, I mean, he's just almost every week, he's just going to give you like 30 points basically almost. Like,
And he's going to have monster week. He gets to play the Jets twice, guys. He gets to play the Patriots twice. He gets 4 games where he's going to give you an elite amount of points. Like those might honestly, you never want to guarantee anything in fantasy because you could have the Jaguars' second string running back getting 60 points one week. But I think
That was brutal.
I think which will go along with my lock later. But I think that Josh Allen has 4 games where it's just going to be a destruction. So that's where I look at it with fantasy. Like I like to look at schedules and say, where am I going to see this guy putting up points? And then I try and draft to equal out with that schedule. So even though they're on different teams, wide receiver 2, running back 1, QB 1 are playing easy games this week. This is a good way to kind of match up your fantasy schedule. So.
Oh yeah. Let's go to a little subject we got, quarterback carousel. We have a lot of this offseason was probably one of the craziest NFL offseasons we've seen in recent memory.
So many quarterbacks went to new teams.
Yeah, so many quarterbacks went to new teams. You got different situations. So we already touched on it a little bit. We saw this past week the Baker Mayfield trade to Carolina, where Carolina gave up a 5th-round pick for the 2024 draft. Let's talk about it. How do we feel? Was that a good trade for Carolina? They play week 1 too.
What did they give up? What did they give up again?
5th round, not this year, but it's the next
conditional.
year.
A conditional.
Conditional 5th round.
2024.
Pick,
So they gave up basically nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
To get Baker
Even
Mayfield.
though the Bills traded Marshawn Lynch for a 5th round.
yeah. Pain.
5th round picks, man. 5th round. But I don't know, man. Like Baker.
Does Baker Mayfield have enough dog in him to give Carolina more wins than
Sam
Sam
Darnold?
Darnold?
Yes. Oh God, yeah. Sam Darnold is so bad. He's so bad. I hate the Jets. We're all Bills fans through and through, and we all hate the Jets. But if you take it away from that just biased hate, like the Jets have tried. I almost feel I don't feel that bad, but I almost feel bad for it's almost like the Bills in the 2000s, like mid 2000s, just trying for quarterback after quarterback, no matter what, and they just never work out. Sometimes it's got to be on the player, and I think Sam Darnold. What was it? Did he win 7 games last year with the Panthers? 5.
They went
in
5
that
and
division.
12.
Like, the NFC was weaker last year. I mean,
it was.
I think Baker wins more games, and I definitely think Baker has that.
How many more wins do you think Baker gets? Do you think this team? Do you think he can take this team at least to 8 wins?
See, that's the problem with the Panthers, man. Is they have good receivers. I'm not a big Robbie Anderson fan, but I'm a big DJ Moore. I'm a big DJ Moore fan.
You got CMC there too.
Is CMC
Terrace Marshall too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And the 2 things that Baker needs to be successful is not just CMC running game. He needs Hubbard to be good out of the backfield on play action for short running back gain, right? And then he also needs a tight end.
Yeah.
The tight end on the Panthers is the guy from Notre Dame. Like, he's their starting tight end. He was okay last year. I think he had 1 touchdown all year.
Yeah.
It was Ian Thomas right now, right?
I believe so.
I think so.
I believe it's Ian Thomas.
I'm not if Baker doesn't have what he needs, I don't know how he can be super successful. That's my problem.
Fair.
You give Jarvis Landry and OBJ were great for Cleveland to bring a name back to Cleveland, but they weren't the type of receivers that Baker needs. Baker needs, quick, get off me.
He's a quick passer,
right, quick
accurate,
passer.
Yeah.
Landry isn't really that. I mean, he's possession, but he's more downfield possession.
Yeah.
I thought the Browns were going to sign Cole Beasley. I really did. I really think.
I mean, he's still a free agent.
I really think they
possible.
should. I really think they should. I'm not the biggest fan of Cole Beasley, but if they want Baker, or not the Browns, I'm sorry, the Panthers. But if the Panthers want to be successful, they need a guy like Cole Beasley to be successful with Baker. That's how I look at it.
That would be an interesting fit in that offense, too. I mean, do they really have a good slot guy right now? I mean, you have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, and those are your real downfield receivers.
And then it's Terrace Marshall, I think, is going to be the slot
CMC
guy.
might line up in the slot a little more because that's what you're seeing with running backs these days. But if they added just like an actual slot receiver like Cole Beasley, that could be an interesting add to that offense.
Yeah, I mean, because what do? They just, Baker's small, so it looks like they spy him a lot, too. Like, a lot of teams just spy him for that underneath guy. And then, it really limits him. And in games where the Browns didn't have Chubb, how many games did Baker win? That's a question I always have that I never Google that I probably should. But
hey, Jules, if you're listening, please let us know.
Please let us know.
But it's tough because are the Browns one of the best running teams we've seen in how many years?
I think so. Yeah, you have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb.
That's one of the craziest duos. I mean, that's
right?
the best duo in the league.
They're better than the Ravens at running the ball, right? Would you argue that?
I think so.
Especially last year.
When everybody's healthy, yes.
I mean, the Ravens didn't have any running backs last year,
right.
So last year's kind of tough to determine. But you'd have to look at 2020 Ravens and 2021 Browns, I think, to get the best comparison.
Yeah. I think they're going to play each other this year, and you're
going to see both of those running back rooms go at it.
I think Deshaun, whatever. I'll keep my thoughts on that, but I don't think he should play ever again. But he's going to, because we all know the NFL is going to let him. And the Browns' running game with Deshaun in that would be nuts. I don't know how Deshaun is probably the closest to Josh Allen in the league, right?
I would like that dual threat ability.
Yeah.
I mean, he's up there.
And like player, that presence, that player presence. At least we're not going to really know what Deshaun Watson looks like because he hasn't played in 18 months.
Yeah,
so that's true.
I haven't found a quarterback that has been gone for as long as he is come back and still be in the same form they were at that elite level.
He's going to need a lot of massages to get his body ready after every game because he's going to be injured a lot. That's what I think is going to happen.
It's going to be a lot of wear and tear on his body, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Which team has a new starting quarterback will be the most improved? So we already talked about it. Could be Carolina and Baker Mayfield, but let's take a look at. We have like Russell Wilson. We talked a little bit about him. Like who else? Matt Ryan too, maybe.
That's the lock right there.
That's the lock.
I think so. Go
Matt
ahead.
Ryan?
Who do you think?
I think it's going to be Russell Wilson and the Broncos. Short King Russell Wilson. I think he's
Short
going
king.
to I look at the Broncos last year and they went 7-10. Yeah, 7-10. I think the Broncos get to 10-7 this year with
That's a good argument. Don't get me wrong. It's a really good argument because the Broncos are loaded, right? Their defense is nasty.
My only
too.
fear is that division.
That
division's going to eat each other alive. But if they can steal a couple games,
You mean
out
the
of
division that is going to have the Kansas City Colts take fourth in that same division? You think so?
the Kansas City Colts,
Or Kansas City Chiefs? Sorry. Kansas City Chiefs taking fourth in that division.
Ooh,
that's a take. I have them number one. You
have them number one?
I have them finishing first in
crazy.
in the AFC West.
Crazy.
We had somebody on our Instagram comment. I think it was Nick Mancari. I think he said Chargers number one.
I said I think the Chiefs and Chargers are going to tie. They're both going to go 11-6, but Chiefs are going to win by tiebreaker. That was my take last week, and I think
the Chargers
I'm still
are the
stick with
best team in that division.
On paper, yes. But, we talked about this a little bit. If you have like those teams that have crazy talent on paper, but they all haven't played with each other, how are they going to meld?
What wins championships in football, according to the coaches that shove
Everyone
it down
loves
our
to say
throat?
defense.
Defense, they say wins championships, right? So going off that, what rank would you give the Chiefs' defense in that division?
In that division,
I'd probably give them like the worst defense. I think so because
By how much?
By a lot, because you look at what the Raiders did. The Raiders they brought Chandler Jones in, who is still an athletic freak.
Monster.
Yeah, they have a secondary that's developing a little bit. Chargers are insane. Denver's insane. Like,
yeah, well, I mean,
I think second or third.
second or third?
defense.
Defense.
Who?
Raiders lost Khalil Mack.
Wait.
Hear me out.
Wait. You have
I
Chandler
have the
Jones,
Chiefs.
Crosby on that defense.
Yeah.
They brought another. Who? They brought Ingram. Didn't they bring Ingram?
Listen, I'm
They
gonna
brought
go.
somebody else in too.
I bet against the Chiefs last year, and I'm not going to bet against them this year.
Oh.
That's gonna be. It might be a hot take now, but we'll see come week 8 or week 9.
Yeah. You're
when
going
the
to see
Chiefs,
Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball to who?
Juju.
Oh, Juju.
my man Juju
Oh,
Smith,
yeah.
TikTok Schuster.
Yeah, he crushed it for Pittsburgh. He was great for them.
We'll see. We'll let history do the talking. And again, I'm not a Chiefs fan by any means, but I can't bet against them again. I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes as much as I do.
I'm not betting against the Chiefs. I'm betting against the teams that are sick of getting their heads beaten by the
That's
Chiefs,
fair.
who went to, I would say, as Mike said, these teams almost, we've never seen this in the NFL before. Never. These teams almost went like full out, we need to hire assassin mode, right? Like they have to take down a beast in Patrick Mahomes. So they were like, you know what? I'm done getting our heads kicked in. I can't do it anymore.
Everyone grabbed defensive
And they were
ends.
just like, who cares? Who cares what's going to happen in the next 5 years? Because we're either going to get our heads beat in by Patrick Mahomes or we're going to have no draft picks. Which one would you choose? And I'm picking no draft picks every time. So that's why I think I'm more in a belief mode of these teams have snapped almost and just been like, we need to do drastic things to be an extraordinary generational player. And I don't think the Chiefs have quite realized that's what they have to compete with in their division. Because who gets rid of Tyreek Hill?
That's fair, yeah.
That's hard, man. It's just Tyreek Hill. He's that speed demon. You know what I mean? He's a.
You're going to see a
separate,
different offense out of the Chiefs this year. It's not going to be a speed-based offense. You have Travis Kelce, and you have Juju Smith-Schuster, and you have Sky Moore.
It's possession.
And it's gonna
slow
be-
in possession, it seems like.
It's going to be methodical.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes is going to pick apart these defenses
Well,
little by little, piece
how much?
by piece.
Here's another question though. With, Schuster doesn't get that. Smith-Schuster doesn't get that separation quick. It takes him time to get separation. He's not the greatest route runner either, but he can battle for a ball, right? Travis Kelce, he's a freak, right? But he does his best work when he's, 15, 20 yards downfield, right? And then you have Sky Moore, who could be more of an underneath project, but he's not going to come in and dominate, I would say, right out of the bat. And then who was the other receiver that they signed?
Marquez Valdez-Scantling from Green Bay.
That is the guy that I think can make or break this team more than Patrick Mahomes.
He's coming into a big role. I mean, he's
Gotta.
stepping in. He's that Tyreek Hill. I mean, you can't replace Tyreek Hill, but he's going to be your Tyreek Hill-esque speed player.
He's almost as fast as almost as fast, but he's up there in speed.
Yeah.
Let me ask you two, what do you think is going to be Patrick Mahomes' average time in the pocket this year? How many seconds is he going to
What was it last year? Did we have that on hand?
I don't know if we have that on hand.
It's definitely going to go. It's gonna increase.
It has to.
It's going to increase.
If it doesn't increase, then what? If it stays the way it is right now, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because he was getting the ball off, not Tom Brady quick, but he was getting it off quick.
He had to.
He had to. He doesn't have the guys to get it off quick anymore. So that's what I worry with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Because these teams are literally like, it's almost the opposite with Josh Allen. They kind of want Patrick Mahomes to run. They don't want him to stand there in the pocket. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's
a little bit slower on his feet.
He lost a step. He definitely lost a step, it seems.
It's all those, if I'm Andy Reid, I'm fearful that if Patrick Mahomes starts to run around more, his body's not going to be able to take it.
That's exactly what I would say.
See how beat up he got in that Super Bowl, man?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes. And, our guy, Nico's guy, he can handle getting beat up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I think, people kind of give the Bills a lot of crap for not building up their O-line enough. But, I mean, why invest big assets into that line?
Josh Allen wants to play that way, too.
Right. Right. He's great. He
wants it.
Number one grit, I would say.
Gets fueled off of getting hit that hard.
Looks good in shorts. Super gritty. Yeah.
This is still crazy to me that you're this high on Josh Allen. If you were to ask him last year any of these, his takes would be completely different.
Oh yeah,
a year ago today.
I mean, I've always what I always said to Nico was, I would love to be wrong about Josh Allen, because if I'm wrong, that means he's a superstar, and I was totally wrong, and that's all that matters, because now I'm happy on Sundays instead of miserable.
Oh yeah.
So. It's much better.
Yeah, I don't know. I still have Chiefs 11-6. I still think that they're going to come in first place in that division. We'll see come the end of the season. It might be a hot take now, but I'm going to let history play
I think
out.
there needs to be a big yak bet.
Big yak bet
on Chiefs.
We got NFC East, and now we got AFC West. That might be my
What's your NFC East take? I forget.
It's my boy Carson Wentz.
in the Commanders.
The Commanders going 9.
There's no way you agreed with that, right?
I know. I said Eagles.
Oh, did you see the article about the Eagles today?
No.
About how Jalen Hurts is looking terrible?
No, I didn't see that, actually.
So who's going to have more wins? Commanders or Eagles?
I'm still going Eagles.
It's going to be the Cowboys.
That's what I said last week. I said I'm not
Cowboys.
betting on the Commanders winning the division. I'm betting on them getting 9 wins.
That whole division's a joke. But the Commanders' defense is sick, so that is something that you could say. I also really hate what the Commanders did to that quarterback they brought in. Winky, is it?
Heineke.
Heineke. Yeah. He's a baller, man. He's a baller. He really is. I don't know how he does it either, but he balled out for them.
He got Washington to a playoff game, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, right? Like it's Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah. On that offense, he was a dog, man. And then they bring in Carson Wentz.
I think Carson Wentz gives them more wins.
Yeah. For what team has Carson Wentz given wins to lately?
The last team was, he did some with the Indianapolis Colts, but it wasn't enough. And then the last time you really saw him spread his wings was the Super Bowl year where he got hurt. And then after he got hurt, he just hasn't been the same.
Give me Carson Wentz with Ron Rivera.
Oh,
that's the combo.
That's an unbelievable take. We'll see.
For my quarterback carousel, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go Matt Ryan and the Colts. I think Matt Ryan and the Indianapolis Colts are going to win the AFC South this year.
I agree. I think they're going to win the AFC South, definitely.
Yes.
There's no other team that's facing them that's ready to compete.
Tennessee takes a step back.
Tennessee lost a step.
Ryan Tannehill just isn't enough. He just isn't good enough to be a consistent year after year division winning quarterback.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah. And then with the Colts, you have Michael Pittman. He's emerging in the scene. He's going to be a good receiver for them this year. You got a guy like Paris Campbell coming back for them too.
Ty
still has a little bit of juice left in him. So yeah, and then if you can pass the ball to Jonathan Taylor out of the backfield. Oh man, and that O-line.
A 9-8 Carson Wentz Colts last year. Do you think they get
How many games
11?
did Carson Wentz play last year though? He didn't play every game.
Yeah, no, I don't think he played every game. I think we saw shines of Jacob.
No, he
Eason.
played. He played.
He
all
played
17.
every game?
Yeah, he played all 17.
Okay.
He had 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Not a terrible year.
That's not bad. That's actually not bad. That's really not bad.
It's not
He had a
bad,
solid year.
but yeah, it wasn't enough to win the division.
What? Well, can we see?
I mean,
can we see
Tennessee
his-
was the worst number 1 seed of all time. That was
Yeah.
Let's see Carson's wins though. Who did he beat?
We had. Let's see. Where is it?
Buffalo.
They Jonathan
was-
Taylor.
that was a
Jonathan Taylor
Taylor
beat
game,
Buffalo.
yeah.
Jonathan Taylor beat Buffalo.
They beat the Dolphins, which yeah, okay. Texans. They beat the 49ers. Yeah. They won. That was a solid game. They beat the Jets, the Jags. Okay.
The Bills.
The
Texans again.
They beat the Patriots, but that was when the Patriots started stinking.
Yeah, that was like their.
And they beat the Cardinals too.
So they had what? What would you say? 2 good wins last year? Bills and Cardinals. Would you give the 49ers?
I'd give the 49. I'd say 30.
3.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's.
And now you put Matt Ryan in that offense. Do you think he improves it, keeps it the same?
I think Matt. I don't want to get into my locks too much, but I think the Colts might be the second best team in the AFC.
All right.
I really
behind.
do. Behind the Bills. I think it goes Bills, Colts, whoever comes out of the AFC West.
I can see that happening just because the AFC West is going to eat each other up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whoever finishes first in the AFC West might be the 3 seed.
The
just
Bills
because of
are
how
going
bad
to.
That team's beat up.
In my opinion, I think the Bills are going to go to the Super Bowl because they don't have a team yet that's ready to beat the crap out of them in their division. I don't think
Miami might steal a game, if that possibly.
I don't think Miami beats them up though.
No,
I think if Miami's going to beat us,
They're
it's
gonna
going to be
sneak
out of pure skill. I don't think Tua has it at all, but I think pure skill is what. The only teams in our division, like there's no dogs in our division. You know what I mean? Every other division has dogs in it. Like the South, is the other one I would argue that we don't know that has a dog in it. Can Tennessee still be a dog? I don't know.
Yeah.
But the Colts are dogs now. Like the Colts are dogs. The AFC West, the whole division are dogs. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh's going to win 9 games no matter who's their quarterback somehow. We all know that's going to happen, right? And then Baltimore is unbelievable. Cincinnati just left the Super Bowl. Like, that's a hard division. The Bills,
that's fair.
The Bills are kind of in that same pathway of the Patriots were for a while, where the division just wasn't it. And Patriots were guaranteed, 4 to 6 wins every year without really getting beat up to get them, So that's why I think the Bills have a really, really strong pathway to the Super Bowl this year. God, I hope so.
Yeah. Let's go to our next segment. Last segment. Take it to the bank. What do you guys take it to the banks this week?
What you got?
Let's hear yours first.
Oh, boy. I got some good ones. I got 3, though. I don't want to.
We could run them off real quick.
All right, real quick. So, all right, 1. The Patriots come in last in the AFC East.
We did say this the one week. I did say the Jets could easily, they could flip flop.
The Jets had a fantastic draft.
I think the Patriots draft top 5 next year.
Ooh. Yeah,
I do. I really do. Okay. I don't think they win more than 6 games. I don't think Mac Jones has it at all. But that's 1. 2 is interesting. I definitely want your opinions about 2 because it's a topic I would love for you guys to get in as the year goes on.
Okay.
Because this really doesn't happen. The Bills make at least one major trade at the deadline this year to improve their roster.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think their most major trade was Kelvin Benjamin in 2018 at the deadline.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Can you think of a major addition?
Do they make a move for,
a first round? We don't need our first rounder next year.
What position, would they trade for?
I'd probably say cornerback. Honestly.
I was thinking corner, yeah.
See, that's I would think that, but honestly, I was thinking.
It all depends on Trey White and how he comes back from injury, how he's looking.
I'm thinking defensive end.
Defensive end could another one?
I think if it's not what they like this year, if they're not seeing the type of push, like obviously, we signed a monster defensive end, right? Von Miller's a monster, right? But it seems like you need 2 monsters now.
I feel like I could see like a Yannick Ngakoue trade coming at midseason, something like that. That's not like huge major news anymore, but I could see something.
Or they
like
might
that
go
happening.
offensive line too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's possible.
That's
Would have been great if we kept Wyatt Teller.
Yeah, that's one thing I wish we would have done.
the one that got away.
The one that got away. I don't know what Beam was thinking, and that's I love Brandon Beam, but that was one of the blemishes I have on him is why
For a sixth rounder. Crazy.
Yeah.
And then 3 goes with what we were just talking about. I got Bills Colts in the AFC Championship this year. And here's the biggest take it to the bank. And we also talked about this. If the Bills lose in dramatic fashion again, I think McDermott goes on the hot seat.
Yeah.
I think
It's
McDermott
possible.
gets kind of
He gets that rap of, okay, you can get your team to the playoffs, but you can't get your team to the
is
Super Bowl.
McDermott Andy Reid Jr.? Right? Is
I
McDermott
mean, they came from the
Andy
same
Reid Jr.?
system, yeah.
Right,
He
right.
is an Andy Reid
Right. He's an
disciple.
Andy Reid
Yeah.
product, right? What was Andy Reid's before Andy Reid got to the Chiefs? What did everybody say about Andy Reid?
Oh, exactly that.
He couldn't win the
Exactly.
big game. He couldn't
Exactly.
get a ring. Yeah.
And I think McDermott. I don't know. I really didn't like our offensive coordinator. I know Nico.
Oh,
did.
Dable?
I didn't like Dable. I think that he's.
I think he got figured out towards the end of last season.
And I think he. And this is crazy for me to even say, Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen made Dable more than people say Dable made Josh Allen.
I do agree with that, honestly.
Yeah, and people act like Dable saved Josh Allen's career or something. It's like, no, Josh Allen was going to go on this trajectory probably because he's that type of guy. Mm-hmm. Either way.
Ken Dorsey came in as offensive coordinator, but this is Josh Allen's offense. Right. Josh Allen's going to dictate this offense.
I do like Dorsey better than Dable. Though.
Absolutely.
I think so too. And
Yes.
I think Dorsey is going to give Josh Allen more control of the offense. He's going to have more say in how he plays the game. And if I'm a coach, I'm trusting Josh Allen's intuition. I'm trusting a top 3
Let
quarterback
Josh cook,
in the
man.
league.
Let
Let
Josh
Josh
cook.
cook.
And didn't Dable argue? There were some rumblings that Dable wanted to run the ball more, or McDermott wanted to run the ball more, and they were arguing about it. In reality, if you're arguing with your head coach about your offense, you're not doing something right.
Right.
There shouldn't be
There's a
that
reason why they're
argument
arguing.
shouldn't happen because if McDermott wants to just run the ball, I have a huge problem with that, especially with who our running backs were last year. There's no reason for us to run the ball, and in some of those situations, I remember I don't know if I was watching the game with you, I was watching the game with buddies, but we were running the ball for no reason in big games when we didn't need to. And then we weren't running the
It'd be
ball
like
when
second
we're
and
up by 20.
13, and we'd run it up the middle.
Right, and then we're throwing 45-yard passes when we're up by 20. It's just like, what are we doing? Why are we doing that?
It sounds like the Houston Texans playoff game.
Honestly,
No, it does.
oh my God, Tywan Jones, I'll never forgive him.
He's on our team now.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I hope he gets cut. He probably will. But those are my 3 locks. Also, just for fun, the Bills are winning the Super Bowl this year, and we're gonna say it right now because we all believe it.
That's right. Yeah, we're an NFL show, but we gotta let the Bills bias.
Be biased. You know what? Listen, Skip Bayless is biased. You guys can be biased too. Don't worry about it.
Nico, what's your take to the bank this week?
We touched about it with my QB carousel, but I'm locking in Russell Wilson getting 10 wins with the Broncos. That's happening. Even in that division, Russ is going to cook. There's too many good pieces in that offense, and that defense is solid enough to get them to 10 wins. So I'm taking that. We already touched on it, but that was going to be my take.
This is my take it to the bank. This is going to be a very interesting one, too. So I was on DraftKings, this past weekend, just taking a look at what I could find. So I saw for, the future bets for a winning season this season, Pittsburgh Steelers are plus 190. Plus 190, and that's pretty good odds.
Yeah.
And with Mike Tomlin as the head coach, and they've had their, ups and downs and whatnot at quarterback, but I think he has had a
never had a losing
He's
season.
always had a winning season. So, I figure you could take, you could put some money right there on them getting a winning season. Even it is a tough division.
Who are you picking as their quarterback?
But just like you said before, you said that it doesn't matter who their quarterback is. Pittsburgh's going to find a way to get 90 wins.
I think they're going to have a winning season. I agree with you.
Yeah, I think Mitch is going to be the week 1 guy, but then
Kenny Pickett's going to take
Kenny
over.
Pickett's going to take over.
That's exactly what I think. That's exactly what I think.
So you put like 20. I'd put like $20 on Pittsburgh getting a winning record.
Put it in a parlay. Why not?
Yeah, put it in a parlay.
Make
Come
this
on.
how about this whole take.
We got Pittsburgh. We got Pittsburgh going winning season. We got Bills Colts AFC Championship. We got Bills winning the Super Bowl. Parlay. See,
There you go.
That's probably at like plus 2,700 or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
you
Put 20
probably
bucks
walk
on it
away
now
a rich
and-
man if you hit all three.
So here's, it's not a lock, but my question to you guys: who's picking first overall next year? Who's the 3 picks next year? 1, 2, 3, 2023 draft.
2, 3.
I haven't even thought much about that yet.
I could probably spit them out right now. I'm gonna go number 1 pick Atlanta Falcons.
Yep.
Number
I
1
agree
pick
with you.
Atlanta Falcons. Number 2 Houston Texans.
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
You
They're
think
not ready yet.
Houston's
They're a couple years away.
Better than Atlanta.
slightly, like
Wow.
tiny bit.
Interesting. They're in a worse division. They're in a
Yeah,
worse
exactly.
division. Yeah.
3. I'm gonna go. Since we talked about it, I think Lions are better than Bears. I'm gonna go 3 Chicago Bears. Yeah.
I got Bears picking 1,
Okay.
and I got Houston 2, and I have the Patriots at 3.
Patriots 3 is a good take.
And then I have Atlanta
That's
at
gonna be
4, and then who cares about 5? But what you got?
I got, pretty much similar to you. I mean, I got Atlanta number 1 overall. They don't really have much going for them this year, unfortunately. Then I have Texans number 2. Again, they're still a couple years away.
That's a little bit of Davis Mills slander. Both of you
Hey.
that's a little
Hey.
bit. Mike slandered Davis Mills too. He's that too.
Listen, Davis Mills is still going to look good, but the rest of the team is just not going to do good.
Fair enough.
And I don't even know who I have number 3. I mean, I want to say the Jets, but they just had too good of a draft to give them number 3 overall.
No, the Jets aren't going to be.
That's going to be solid.
I don't
they're
think Zach Wilson is anything to worry about, but the Jets.
Oh, we're going to talk about Zach Wilson.
Oh boy.
Yeah, mom's got to worry about Zach Wilson, but
Well, his mom's friends have to worry about that. Well, maybe it's not worry.
Who's number 3?
oh
Say
yeah,
the Patriots, Nico.
no, give me Bears. I'm going right with
Yeah.
Mike. I'm aligning right with Mike there.
Oh,
Give me
well, you
Bears.
should. I mean, that's how you have a good partnership.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's all it for NFL content. But let's talk about Zach Wilson, man. Let's talk about that guy. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just sitting here. This is yesterday or 2 days ago, and Zach Wilson is just like trending. I'm like, I wonder what it is, and it's not even football related. It's dating related. So on his girlfriend,
You and Zach Wilson have a little bit in common.
So his girlfriend, somebody commented on her picture. She has a new boyfriend. It's actually Zach Wilson's
Former team.
teammate. Yeah, his best
That's
friend.
spicy.
His best
Now
friend.
that's spicy.
Yeah, that's
Brutal.
spicy. So somebody commented at her and was like, like, what the heck? Like, what's going on? And she goes, yeah, not when he's cheating on me with his mom's best friend. And I'm like,
this is how I loop like Molly into football. Like, did you hear about this one? Did
you hear about this one? Oh yeah,
Do we have a picture of the wife's best friend? That's my question.
we gotta find her.
Because
Well, I saw later. I forget who it was from Barstool, but they did a deep dive. They did a deep investigation of it. Turns out it's not the mom's best friend. It's a younger mom, but they like knew each other. They weren't like best friends. Like, I guess the mom like helped this younger mom before, and now that's
it's such a
so like it's
Like,
not quite the truth of
Zach-
what people made it out to be.
like
Not the
Zach
best
Wilson's
friend, but-
making millions of dollars. He's like, here, let me just step in and be a stepdad real quick while I work for the New York Jets. Like, it's so
Let me take
it's
this kid to the Jets
it-
game.
it's just so
Bring
weird.
him on- bring him
It's
on the
so,
field.
These it's so weird. These NFL and NBA players, like, they make so. If I made that much money, I would have a person who approves every decision I make. I would
A
literally,
manager.
I would
That's a- you'd have
not
a
even.
manager.
No, I'd have a life manager. Like, can I have another drink? No. Okay, drive me home. Like, that's honestly because that. This doesn't last long. It's like I wouldn't even want to put myself in a position because I know the type of person I am. I would put myself in a position like Zach Wilson did, where it's like, oh, now I got to take 30 questions about why I'm banging my mom's best friend.
There he is, yeah. Person of the
Zach
year.
Wilson, Person of the Year.
Yep,
Time Magazine.
yep. Hey,
Like you see it on TikTok. It's like those stories you swipe them,
Yep.
and it's just like a compilation. It's like the one. It's like this cartoon. It's like City Boys, City Boys, City Boys, City Boys.
didn't Brett Favre do something as the Jets QB too? Hasn't it been like?
It's gotta be the
hasn't
Jets.
it? It's literally the Jets. Like Brett Favre.
It's that New
didn't
York-
he send something
Joe
to
Namath.
Like, Joe Namath. Every time you see Joe Namath on video, you're like, this guy has no clue where he is. Like, there's no
He
idea
polls,
where
though. He
knows.
polls.
He does. He does. But then you got Sam Darnold, who is like a little dork and, just cries when he's playing football.
He was seeing ghosts.
Yeah, seeing ghosts. Like, imagine saying that out loud. Like, I couldn't even imagine. But, yeah. Zach Wilson, good for you, man. Good for you.
Got that dog,
But 40-plus is what you should have been aiming for to be more impressive with this. But young moms are great, too. Shout out to my young wife mom, too.
Alrighty, I think that's all we got. Thank you, Sean, for coming on the show. We appreciate you stepping on and talking about all your takes and whatnot. You added some hot takes, but you know what? They're gonna make a lot of good sound bites, and yeah, we appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thanks boys.
again,
I appreciate it. I wish you guys all the success. You deserve it. You guys work hard, and also I'm just gonna keep pressuring you to do this broadcast because you guys can do it. I'm telling
Coming
you.
to a hockey
Yeah, we're
arena
excited.
near you.
He told me about it. We're very excited.
I would love it.
More info to come on that to all our listeners out
Yeah,
there, but
yeah.
we'll see. Big thank you to BICBP. Thank you, Matt Johnson. Thank you, Moranto. Follow us on social media. All of our listeners on the website. Thank you for all of the love and support that we've gotten so far. But yeah, come check out our social medias.
Yeah.
Come check out the reels on Instagram. Check out everything's the Big Yak Podcast.
Do you guys have a TikTok?
We're trying to get the TikTok going.
TikTok is
it's in
coming
the
soon.
works. It's in the works. But yeah, Instagram, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Twitter, like everything. Facebook, like everything. Show some love, and we appreciate you guys for all the views and subs we've gotten so far.
Blow it up for these guys, or they're not going to help you at Wegmans and everything else.
Exactly. All right.
All right, thank you guys.
Well, thank you.